Good morning, Twitch.tv. Good morning to YouTube as well. And, of course, good morning, Mini Motorways. Let's go to Manila for today's daily challenge, where we will only get one choice of upgrade, and our destinations are more likely to be double destinations just like this. Right over to here, Hulkamat was here first. Good morning, Hulkamat. Good morning as well to Jeremy. Jeremy is here first, and Jeremy has a very important question, which is, who made our absolutely lovely starting soon graphic, which, if you haven't seen it, because we've only been doing it on Twitch for a couple of weeks now, let me throw it over here on YouTube. Plus, you got a little bit of the Mass Effect 2 Galaxy music. I did not hit the wrong button, Hulkamat. I hit the button to show the thing because Jeremy asked. You weren't... Well, what? There's a problem with... Clearly. All right. We're going to take these yellows. We're going to run them over to here. I wanted to show the people on YouTube who hadn't seen the graphic what the graphic was because Jeremy asked. And I will say that if you go to tinyurl.com/ghostbubble, you can check out Parlor Ghost's Redbubble page, because Parlor Ghost is the one who made the tremendous... Parlor Ghost did like 99% of the work involved in the redesign of the channel. I did like... I commissioned Parlor Ghost, so I was the client, and she bounced ideas off of me, and I was like, hey, I don't like this font, but I do like that font. You presented me with 4 options, and I like 80% of this option. Can you take the 80% of this option and mold it with the 20% of this option I like? That sort of thing. Ghosty did the yeoman's work. Ghosty put in all of the effort. I contributed like little movements of things, and I changed one font on one thing. But yes, this is a Parlor Ghost joint, and it is a wonderful joint. It is a wonderful joint is something that Tommy Chong has said a good many times in his life, one assumes. But yes, this was Parlor Ghost. You should love and support Parlor Ghost just as much as everyone else in the whole wide world. And if you have them, you should drop those ghosties in the chat. And granted, that's a tier 2 emote, and those cost even more than the tier 1 emotes. But still you should do that thing. Or if you want to and can afford to. Listen, I'm not the boss of you or nothing. Good afternoon, Sunflare Space. Sunny is here. Mayor Rafael Devers has told the Philippines he will only play roundabouts this week. Well, that's unfortunate. We should probably talk about Rafael Devers, given that the underscore Goog is a white man from Massachusetts. Now, granted, that's, apparently that's all the qualification one needs to have opinions on Rafael Devers, I guess. I did briefly want to touch on the horrors, which is a terrifying statement, but I mostly wanted to touch on the horrors to talk about how there are horrors, there are fresh ones this week, and I don't feel the need to rant about them, largely because nobody needs to hear the uninformed doom musings of a white man from Massachusetts as regards the police and National Guard and presidential rioting in Los Angeles this weekend. Nobody needs to hear the uninformed doom musings of a white man from Massachusetts. Now, granted, the uninformed doom musings of a white man from Massachusetts is, 1, the title of the episode, 2, potentially the title of my autobiography, and 3, definitely the general oeuvre of the channel. But in this particular instance, anyone who knows me knows what I think. Anyone who doesn't know me doesn't care what I think. It would just be more uninformed doom musings from this white man from Massachusetts. So, quickly let me open a notepad document so that I may type out the phrase, the uninformed doom musings of a white man from Massachusetts. Because I'm not going to say anything funnier than that, potentially ever. It's a very lengthy title, but we can get away with lengthy titles every now and then. Alright, so we got a problem. The problem is these 3 dark blues need to get over here to this. I think the solution to this problem, well, the temporary solution to this problem, is to screw over this red business. The temporary solution is to just pull back this bridge and draw that one. And if we absolutely need to, we can get creative with these roads. As a matter of fact, I think we absolutely need to. So let's do this. For now, and believe you me, this is not a serious long-term answer, but for the moment, we're going to have the Reds come through here, use this plaza as a double platform, or use this plaza as a roadway basically, and just go off that away. That's going to go real well. Okay, now we've retrieved a bridge, so that means we can immediately sever this connection. This connection lasted exactly as long as it needed to. Jeremy has the water bottle emote, and the water bottle emote is a follower emote. Just for following the channel, you have access to these 5 lovely emotes right here. And then at tier 1, you get all sorts of other fun toys and buttons that you get to press. And then at tier 2, you get the ghosties, and there are bit rewards. Like if people give certain numbers of bits, they can drop the tulip emote. I mostly use I'm not going to lie, I use the higher tier bit rewards as like, hey, remember when this was a tier 1 emote? Which, if the channel ever takes off and there's more than like one person above tier 1, we might need to revisit that strategy. But listen, would be a good problem to have. Listen, I would very much like to have the problems of full-time Twitch streamers. For the most part. Some of the problems of full-time Twitch streamers are not problems I'd like to have. So, you know. Anyway. Like, yes money, no stalkers. How about that? Like, that's the general hope. Yes money, no stalkers. That would be great. If we could do that, that would just be, aces. Don't know if we'll get there, but, one thing at a time. All right, now. We have a problem, and it doesn't look like we have a problem, but we do, in fact, have a problem. First of all, I need to remember to redraw this red road right here. Secondly, you come over to here. Yeah, stalker the underscore. Listen, Hulkamat, there are things of the underscore Googs on the internet that are a lot more damning than podcasts. So, anyway, let's go ahead and take this and run this blue road right over to here. And you might swing in like such. And I think what we're going to have to do is basically have this yellow swing. Actually, this yellow can swing up here. And, well, we could run this yellow like so. And these reds just swing that away. That's a way these could swing. Okay. I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing we're doing here, but it's definitely something we're doing here. Yeah, I think that's an accurate statement. It is, in fact, something we're doing here. All right, let's do this over to here, and then you come that away, you come here, you point there, and traffic light here. I think we traffic light here. Okay. I think we spent an hour on, this little intersection right here, which isn't necessarily the best use of our time, but it'll be fine. Speaking of things that'll be fine, I think we were supposed to be talking about Rafael Devers at some point, and listen, friends, that will not be fine. That situation is doom fucked, but not for the immediate future, at least. You come up over to here, we'll do another PCTL right there, and we're going to wait for this bridge to debridgeify itself. You connect in that away, thank you. This, oh, hi. I don't think that's good. Yeah, I don't think that's a great place for a, uh-oh. Okay. Well, maybe this traffic light actually wants to be replaced with a roundabout. Have we considered that? I don't know if we considered that. We should probably consider that. Let's take a few of our roundest-aboutest friends, run them down here. We'll have the 3 of you go service that. This feels ucky, this thing I've done here, but It might be fine. It might inevitably be sort of fine. I really don't think it's going to be any kind of fine here. Rafi Devers related, Jeremy is way out of the loop and has no idea what's going on this baseball season. I am not a person who pays day-to-day attention to the Boston Red Sox anymore, but fortunately for me, the Boston Red Sox are a dumpster fire right now. So, listen, Sonny, phones randomly restarting is a fine and natural part of the phone ecosystem. Don't think about it. It'll be fine. Everything will be A-okay. Speaking of things being A-okay, this red business has gone circular, which is bad, but, if we don't worry about it, it doesn't have to be a problem. It can just be a thing. All right. These reds don't actually have the road numbers to go off that away, so problem. But we can do this, which swings a couple more reds off into thatly, which is what we want. I'm just going to leave this road here to block off this corridor, stop any houses from spawning here and screwing me over. That would be very impressive. Thank you. So the Boston Red Sox, they're a baseball team. They're owned by a quadrillionaire, essentially. Technically, they're owned by a management company whose job it is to own sports teams, which, listen, in the Mitt Romney world where corporations are people, there are a lot worse lives for people than being a corporation whose entire purpose for being is to own sports teams. So the Boston Red Sox are owned by a company whose purpose is to own sports teams. And that company is owned by a whole fuckload of gazillionaires, including specifically John Henry, the guy everybody thinks of when they ask who owns the Boston Red Sox. So we're going to shortcut this and say that John Henry, a fucking quadrillionaire shitfucker, owns the Boston Red Sox. And the thing is, John Henry is a great many things, and one of the things John Henry has recently become is a person who doesn't like to spend money on baseball players. So, the Boston Red Sox have a very good young core of talented up-and-coming prospects, and Rafael Devers, who's a superstar, who's a very, very, very good hitter. Now, if you have a very, 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 very good hitter like Rafael Devers, and a young up-and-coming core of talent, and an absolute terrible disaster fire of a starting pitching rotation, and like no other good players other than the young core I've mentioned and Rafael Devers, the thing you do, if your priority is winning baseball games, is you sign more good baseball players, and you make your baseball team better. This is what the Los Angeles Dodgers have done. This is what the Los Angeles Mets, the New York Mets have done, etc., etc. The Boston Red Sox did not do that. They paid lip service to the idea of doing that by signing Alex Bregman, but he's having a very good season. He's a very good baseball player. He's also only controlled by the Boston Red Sox for one season, so there's that. That's kind of a fly in the Sox ointment, but All right, so we got this red business over here, and I think the thing to do with this red business is to take these three reds right here and chop this road. And by chopping that road, we've freed up this eastern entrance for these yellows, which in turn will make life easier for these four reds down here. These four reds down here will now be the sole and primary support for this red circle, which isn't really enough for a red circle, but it'll be fine. Motorway number 1 will swing over here, enter this via the east, because, we might as well. All right. These four come down here into the big complicated roundabout. You go off that away. Great. It's a good thing you don't care about sports. Oh, I thought you were just a baseball fan who hadn't been paying attention this season. Oh, well, we're going to keep ranting. So the Boston Red Sox kind of, sort of, maybe a little care about winning. However, they had a problem. Specifically, they signed Alex Bregman, who's an excellent third baseman. Like, one of the things Alex Bregman does is he plays defense at third base very, very, very well. Rafael Devers, the aforementioned very, 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 very good hitter they had under their employ, also, nominally, played third base. And Rafael Devers does not play third base particularly well. He's like okay-ish at it, but when you have a guy like Alex Bregman, who is very good at playing third base, and you have a guy like Rafael Devers, who is not very good at playing third base, the thing to do to make your baseball team as good as it can possibly be is to take Rafael Devers aside and say, hey, hi, friend, you're gonna not play third base for us anymore. Now, one thing that complicates matters, and believe me, matters are going to get complicated here. One thing that complicates matters is that the Red Sox already signed a contract to give Rafael Devers a fuckload of money. Not like anywhere near an amount of money that John Henry or the actual owners of Fenway Sports Group would actually miss. Like, John Henry could lose the entire amount of money that is owed to Rafael Devers every day for a week and maybe notice it. But in baseball terms, in salary of a professional baseball player terms, the Red Sox are under contract to Rafael Devers for approximately one fuckload of money. And Rafael Devers has been with the team forever, and he was on the team the last time they won the World Series. He was, coming into this season, a very well-regarded baseball player by both the team and its fans. And one thing you should know about the Boston Red Sox is that they have a particular talent as an organization for influencing, let's say, the way its fans think about its players. This is helped, of course, by the fact that the Red Sox ownership group also owns NESN, which is the cable channel on which Red Sox games are broadcast, and the Boston Globe, which is the primary newspaper reporting on the Boston Red Sox. So, by being able to control the narrative around players, the Red Sox have made quite a talent out of just shivving guys on their way out the door for one reason or another. I say that's for absolutely no reason whatsoever, and certainly not to provide context for what is to follow. So we'll take a bridge here. We've got a fair bit of nonsense happening pretty much everywhere, honestly. I think the biggest problem we have at the moment is actually this light blue business down here. This light blue business down here is presently a circle supported by two houses, which seems... Oh, there's a word for that. What's the word for a circle supported by two businesses? Bad. Right. It seems bad. Speaking of which, we're going to take this house and point it over here, and we're going to take this house and point it over here, because this is also a circle supported by two businesses, and that's also bad. Additionally, we're going to leave these reds going over here to support this, which is great. We're going to ban a fucking horrendous spam bot. How dare you exist, spam bot. Alright, let's see here. You come up over to here. Swing in that away. Swing in that away. Alright, I think we're going to run these three blues off on a magical mystery tour. So you're going to need to go do that. And you're going to need to go do that. Okay, so you three blues, come down here. These reds are going to run up and over in a thisly fashion, actually. That then will free up all of these blues to come over here. Cool. So now we have 5 blue houses supporting this blue circle, and we still have 3 blue houses supporting this blue business, and that should all be fine, except for the presence of this green, which is just an annoyance, really. Alright, you go over to there. Oh boy, you went from not existing to being the worst green circle in the world in like 8 seconds, friend. I'd be impressed if I wasn't so furious at you for it. Alright. These 5 greens here are going to have to come up this way, we're going to need to caducify this red road to free the western entrance to this plaza. That'll do that. Okay. So the 5 of you hoop down here. Neat. Next. Buddy. Okay. We also got to deal with these dark blues. Those dark blues are going to come this way. We're going to have these dark blues go up there to that business. These dark blues are going to swing over here into this roundabout. And then they're going to go past this way over to here. And yes, that does involve them working with these reds. And no, that isn't great, but, you know, details. So the Red Sox owe Rafael Devers roughly $2 quadrillion. And also, he's been on the team forever, and he's a really, 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 really good hitter. And he wants to play third base. He doesn't want to play anywhere else. He wants to play third base. And the Red Sox went to Rafael Devers and were like, hey, dude, we want you to be our designated hitter. And Rafael Devers was like, I don't want to. I want to play third base. And, like, the designated hitter is a spot that doesn't have to play defense. It is, get this, designated as a hitter. So it should theoretically be easier for Rafael Devers to be a DH than to be a third baseman. However, some guys find that they actually prefer the rhythm of, okay, go out in the field, play an inning of defense, come back in the dugout, maybe hit. The designated hitter doesn't get that rhythm of go out in the field and play defense. He only sits in the dugout and gets ready to hit for 2 or 3 innings at a time. And some guys find that they get in their own head, they get out of the game, they lose rhythm. There's been like a little bit of research into this, and it's basically on a dude-by-dude basis. But some dudes, just for whatever reason, don't like being a DH. Rafael Devers was asked, hey Rafi, we want you to be our DH. And Rafael Devers said, I don't wanna. I want to play third base. Chaim said I could play third base. And Chaim is Chaim Bloom, the guy who was the Red Sox essentially general manager. The title's like president of baseball operations, I think. I don't remember what the Red Sox call it, but he's the guy who like runs the team on the macro level. Not like the ownership signee checksy level, but like the general direction of the franchise level. And Chaim Bloom, when he gave Rafael Devers a contract that said the Red Sox would pay him a fuckload of money forever, said, yeah, you're going to be our third baseman forever. And here we are a year or so later, and the Red Sox are saying, actually, we signed this guy named Alex, and we want him to play third base instead. In the Red Sox defense, Alex is better at playing third base than Rafi, and Chaim doesn't work there anymore because the Red Sox fired him because Chaim built a team that sucks. Like, Rafi might or might not have a point about this thing that Chaim said to him, but Chaim doesn't work there anymore, and Chaim was bad. So, also just in general, like as an organizational structural philosophy, one of my guiding principles is fuck Chaim Bloom. Just fuck him and everything he stands for. So in this particular instance, I personally do not have any sympathy for any argument that rests on, but Chaim Bloom said I could play third base. No. This is very rare for me to say, so I want everybody to get their recording fingers ready. I favor the ownership position here. My position is that Mr. Devers should have said, no, when the Red Sox came to him and said, hey, do you want to be the DH? Rafi was entirely within his rights to say, not really, boss. But then, when the Red Sox said, sorry, bud, you're going to be our DH, Rafi should have said, well, I don't like that, but okay. And after several weeks of back and forth, that's eventually the position on which they all settled. By the way, I've built a terrible situation here with these, with this roundabout in particular. Yeah, this roundabout in particular is actually quite rat-wikey, and I think the reason for that, in addition to just me being bad at stuff, is that actually these blues here think they're responsible for this business, and I understand why they would think that, given their general proximity to that business. So... Oh, Jeremy, this situation takes a great many more twists and turns. We are not done yet. So, problem, we've got a great many problems. That's true of a great many things, actually, but most specifically, it's true of these Blues here, and I don't know how to fix this situation, so we're just going to sit here and acknowledge that it's fucked, I think. Just sitting here and acknowledging that it's fucked is... Well, anyway. What was that about the uninformed doom musings of a white man from Massachusetts? So Rafael Devers doesn't want to be a DH. He wants to play third base. Problem, the Red Sox have this guy named Alex. Alex is better at playing third base. Eventually, Rafael Devers is like, all right, fine. I'm your DH. I'll be your DH. I'll go hit designatedly or whatever. To make matters worse, so pretty much as soon as Rafi started saying, hey, I want to play third base. Yeah, I know you signed this guy named Alex, but you said I could play third base. I want to play third base. As soon as Rafi started saying, hey, I want to play third base. Oh, Jeremy, like Goog ranting and screwing himself over in the game is just how we do the game at this point. 1940 is a halfway decent score, but not as good as Samurai Sam, so we'll drop those slams in the chat. And then we'll come over here and bring in our very good friend the Wordle and continue ranting about Rafael Devers. So as soon as Rafi started saying, I don't want to be the DH, I want to play third base, and the Red Sox were like, but we signed this guy Alex, and he's better at third base. And Rafi was like, but I don't want to be a DH. As soon as that whole thing started, the Boston Globe and the Boston sports media and then the national media turned it into a big fucking deal. Because, so what if the Red Sox owe Rafael Devers a shitload of money? Let's just shiv him a little bit. So the Red Sox decided to just shiv him a little bit. Make sure that everybody knew that the Red Sox wanted Rafael Devers to be a DH, and Rafael Devers did not want that. And listen, I think the Red Sox were correct. However, it is very clear that there is a communication issue within the organization. To make matters worse, for the first month or so of the season, Rafi couldn't fucking hit, at all. He fucking sucked at fucking hitting for the first month of the season, which, is a thing that happens. Guys go in slumps. Guys forget how to hit a little bit. Hitting a baseball is legendarily difficult. So Rafi goes in this massive slump, and he's the DH, and he's not happy about it, and the media is shitting on him, and it's generally a bad time. And then Tristan Casas got hurt. Tristan Casas is the Red Sox first baseman. And he's good, he's fine, he's a perfectly cromulent first baseman, but his knee exploded. He was running and he stepped on a base weird and his knee exploded, and now he's not dead, but out for the season, so functionally dead. So Tristan Casas gets hurt, and the Red Sox need a first baseman, because the Red Sox backup options at first base are garbage. They're real bad. They're so bad. So the Red Sox need a first baseman, and they have this Japanese guy named Masataka Yoshida. And Masataka Yoshida is kind of like Rafael Devers in that he ostensibly plays a position, but he plays it very poorly. And Masataka Yoshida is a left fielder, and he's not good at left field. He's especially not good at left field in Fenway Park because the Red Sox home stadium has this big, enormous wall that makes left field a weird and difficult position to play. So Masataka Yoshida, ostensible left fielder, really should be a DH. And the Red Sox need a first baseman. And they have a guy who has recently played third base who is currently not playing third base. So they go to Rafi Devers, and they say, hey, Rafi, you remember that whole throw your glove away, you're a designated hitter forever now thing? what if you played first base for us? And Rafael Devers looks at the Red Sox and goes, what? Now, keep in mind, first base is probably the easiest position to play. And in general, I am of the opinion that any reasonably athletic human being can play a reasonably acceptable first base if given time to learn the position. However, there are intricacies there. It is very difficult, especially at the major league level, and it is not entirely clear that 2025 Rafael Devers meets the full accepted definition of the term reasonably athletic. So, also, historically, for those of you who have institutional memory, which is me but is not the Boston Red Sox for some reason, the Red Sox in particular have a particularly bad history of taking dudes who have never played first base and trying to teach them how to play first base at the major league level in the middle of a season. One time they had a big slugging guy named Willie Mo Pena, who was ostensibly a center fielder, but very clearly wasn't good at that. And they tried to teach him how to play first base, and it went horribly. Another time, they had Hanley Ramirez, who was ostensibly a shortstop, but really shouldn't play there anymore. And they tried to teach him how to play first base, and it went kind of okay. But then they also tried to teach him how to play left field, and he fucked his shoulder and ruined his career. So, yeah, the Red Sox don't have a great track record of moving guys from other positions to first base mid-season. So Rafael Devers hears the Red Sox go, Rafi, we want you to play first base. And he's like, no. Y'all told me I'm a DH now. I'm a DH now. And the Red Sox go to the media and are like, we wanted Rafi to play first base and he don't want to play first base. So what do you want us to do about it? And then Rafael Devers goes to the media. Because, he sees the guys with microphones and he can talk to them if he wants to. Rafael Devers goes to the media and says, listen, I don't have a problem with Alex, who's, Alex Cora, the field manager who makes the day-to-day game decisions. I don't have a problem with Alex, but that asshole Craig, who's the guy who replaced Heim, who's the guy representing the Red Sox, who's the one going to Rafi in all of these situations, that asshole Craig don't know what the fuck he's doing. I don't know what fucking planet he's from. Now, Craig used to play baseball, but he was like a specialist relief pitcher and not a slugging corner infielder. So, what we're getting at is there's a major disconnect between the Red Sox front office and the Red Sox players, as evidenced by the fact that one of the Red Sox players felt totally comfortable going to the media and shitting all over the Red Sox front office. That's bad. That's really fucking bad. Alex Cora is still the field manager of the Boston Red Sox for some reason. The Red Sox have been bad or mediocre for 6 years now. And Alex Cora is a known shitheaded cheater fucker. But yeah, he's still the field manager of the Red Sox. The players like him. I don't know. He won a World Series one time. That's good. He cheated to win a couple of World Series, including the World Series he won with the Red Sox. But, Alex Cora, legendary Red Sox Hall of Famer. God, Alex Cora is going into the Red Sox Hall of Fame, isn't he? Man, I don't think of myself as a Red Sox fan anymore, but every once in a while, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, that is gross, isn't it? Well, Alex Cora, future Red Sox Hall of Famer, because he cheated to win one World Series and stuck around for a while. Yeah, the fans really like him. He's good at that, I guess. I don't know. So the Red Sox need a first baseman. And Rafael Devers doesn't want to play first base. And the Red Sox are like, okay, fine, you can still be a DH. And to this, here we are a month later, the Red Sox still don't have a first baseman. They're still, floundering. Additionally, Alex Bregman got hurt somewhere in there. and Alex Bregman was out for a few weeks. And the Red Sox were like, hey, Rafi, you remember that whole we don't want you to play third base thing? And Rafi at this point just throws up his hand and is like, fine. And he takes his glove and he goes and plays third base. I think Rafael Devers has played third base this season. This is where we actually get into the day-to-day. I have not been paying attention. So I don't know if Rafael Devers has actually played third base this season. Let's go to Baseball Reference and find out. Good God. Okay, you remember when I said that Rafael Devers sucked for the first month of the season? He did. He really did. Rafael Devers is now having the best season of his career. Holy shit. Rafael Devers has a 929 OPS, which is really, really good. It's really good. He's like 50% better than the average hitter this season. He sucked for the first month. Holy shit, Rafi. Oh, God. All right. Have you played any third base this year, my guy? Where is your fielding? God, I can't find fielding on Baseball Reference anymore. I promise we'll do the Wordle after this. You know, the word could be field. All right. Rafael Devers has only been a designated hitter this season. So apparently, even when Alex Bregman got hurt, they did not actually get Rafael Devers to play third base, which is a shame. I'm sure it would have gone terribly. But yeah, Rafael Devers is mashing the fucking cover off the ball, apparently. Hold on, I cannot believe this. Dude, what the hell happened to you this season? All right, when did you start being good, Raf? You hit like... Here, we're just gonna arbitrarily go month by month here. So through the end of April, right? The Red Sox started their season on March 27th. Through the end of April, Rafael Devers had a 787 OPS. Since May 1st, which is just a totally arbitrary endpoint, I totally know, but for the hell of it, since May 1st, Rafael Devers is hitting 336. He's got a 1059 OPS over the last month or so. Oh, the last time you paid attention to baseball was when Rafael and Mookie Devers were on the Red Sox. Yeah, I said Mookie Devers. That's wrong. Yeah. You remember when the Red Sox traded Mookie Betts and David Price for permission to not pay Mookie Betts or David Price? And also a pile of crap? Yeah, that wasn't good times. That was dumb. Anyway, what is this? The Wordle could be stood. It's nothing saying it can't be other than the fact that it's not. It can't be snood because there's no S and only one O, which isn't the third or fourth letter. Like, because we used a 2-O word and we got a gray O in the fourth, we know that O is not in that slot. So it's one of the first two letters. So it can't be orchid. That's a 6-letter word. It can't be orgad because that's not a word. Jeremy, you should be like me and follow the New York Mets. The New York Mets are good and fun, mostly. Would be better if Juan Soto was hitting like Juan Soto, but, you know, he's got 15 years to figure it out. It'll probably be fine. What about this word? It could be, it can't be COVID. Because that's an initialism. And also has a I in it. We know there's no I. Hi Sam, drop those slams in the chat, etc. It could be, this is a good question. I know it's not Oregon, but we're just going to toss that out there and see what we learn. We learned a fair bit of shit, actually. Okay. So, we can process of elimination. The O is the second letter. Because it can't be the fifth, that's where the D is. It can't be the third because it was yellow here. It can't be the fourth because it was gray here. And it can't be the first because it was yellow here. So it's got to be the second. Which means we have an R and an A to get into 1, 2, 3 spaces. So we're looking at XOXXD with an R and an A to fit there. And just looking at the shape of that word, I feel very confident that it's RO, which means if it starts with an R, then the A has to be the third letter, which means we only have to fit that X. Wait. Is there a... What? There can't be a... I don't think there's a word that fits that. There's like an author's name. I think that's how you would spell Roald Dahl, but that's not a thing. Ow. Itchy, scratchy, chin scratch. I think trying to convince you to care about... I mean, I did say you should root for the New York Mets, so I guess that counts. It's not like... It's not an H there, right? Am I wrong about the AO thing? It can't be like... I'm flummoxed. Flummoxed is a wonderful word to describe the feeling that I have right now. We're just going to toss out a 5-letter word with letters I haven't used yet, and that burned a guess real bad. Maybe not a good idea to do that when I had 4 of the letters. Bored? Could it be... You know what, Sonny? It absolutely could be. I think the problem I got into is I never considered that the R could be the 4th letter. God damn, that's right. As a resident of Massachusetts, is it a betrayal to root for a New York team? My opinion is that with the exact wording of that question, no. Because, thank you, Sonny. Sam's got it. Like, if I personally feel... Well, first of all, I think that this is funny for me to say, given that it's how I started, but basing your fandom entirely on geography is silly. You do not owe the Boston Red Sox your absolute eternal sports loyalty just because you were born in Massachusetts. That is silly and dumb. The Red Sox can, and in my case have, lose your fandom. That is okay. If they as an organization do things that makes you as a fan be like, hey, I don't think I want to root for a team that would do this, you would be perfectly fine to find another team. Now, the Red Sox have done things like fire the second best play-by-play announcer in baseball 2 years before he becomes the best play-by-play announcer in baseball for no good reason, to replace him with your buddy. And trade the best player you've developed since maybe Carl Yastrzemski, and if not him, Ted Williams, and a perfectly serviceable starting pitcher for the rights to not pay those players what they're worth. If you do those things, you stop having the _Goog as a fan. Now, the New England Patriots are also on the Goog shit list, but we've said we weren't talking about horrors today, so let's move on to Time Guesser. How about that? Let's just move on to Time Guesser real quick. All right, so we are at Coca-Cola newsstand. I think this I don't know if this is literally the Flatiron building, but a building like this with this news sticker thing seems very Times Square-ish. So, question is when? Coast of France under strong air assault? Yeah, Sam, this I'm pretty sure this is New York, and by New York, we mean Manhattan. It's what everybody means when they say New York. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're at Times Square in 1940. Like, if this was Pearl Harbor, they wouldn't be talking about France. So, oh boy, 41,000. That's a good score. All right, let's go smack dab into the heart of New York, by which we mean Manhattan, and find ourselves Times Square, which is... it's at, 42nd Street and Broadway? Sounds about right. So it's like Midtown, right? Like, it's not north of Central Park. It's near the Empire State Building, isn't it? Sort of. Anybody? No, it's very close to Grand Central. I remember that. Like, very, very, very close to Grand Central. So it might actually be... there we go. All right. So we are at, let's say 42nd and 7th, right? Oh yeah. Right there in 1940. 1944. Oh, it was D-Day. That makes sense. Coast of France. Okay. All right. That tracks. And I suppose it's reasonable that there would have been one of those given that, last Friday was June 6th. Okay. By the way, ow, my nose. Happy birthday to the Goog's sibling T-Flower. Everybody go follow them on Bluesky or whatever. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you. Let's see here. We've got language that I don't recognize. Great. Also, Sam's sister's birthday. Congratulations, Sam's sister. Happy birthday. That narrows it down to any of, 8 people in the world, I think. Hey. Well, the Australian government is involved, but also it's an Austro-Indonesian partnership. Gotcha. Promoting rural incomes through support for markets in agriculture. Okay. All right. So, given the non-legibility to the underscore Goog of this language here, I'm guessing we're closer to Indonesia than Australia. Jeremy is open to Mets propaganda. Yeah. Let's see. Mets propaganda. Pete Alonso's an adorable goober. Brett Beatty's hot. And Edwin Diaz has a cool entrance. These are all facts, if you believe certain aspects of Mets fandom, which, I mean, you might not want to, but listen. They generally seem a likable bunch of fellas as long as you don't think too hard about stuff, which is true of, every baseball team. So, Also, Jeff McNeil is enjoyable when he's not screaming at people. So, Jeff McNeil's enjoyable a good 58% of the time. So we're somewhere in Indonesia, I think, in, 2020, 2019. I feel really good about 2019, actually. All right, let's toss a pin in this part of Indonesia right here and say that we're in 2019. It was 2022 in a different part of Indonesia. Okay. Hello, computer engineer type person. Your newspaper is The New Vision. Okay. Can you say, we got a year. We got 2012. Now, Uganda's leading daily. Hey. This is an exceedingly helpful newspaper. So we're somewhere in Uganda in 2012. Grand. Is there any way we could possibly narrow it more than that? Not really. I mean, pick the biggest city in Uganda. There you go. Now, unfortunately, we'll find it eventually. It's not. This is a decent sized country. We'll get it there eventually. It's around here somewhere. He's like, aha, there it is. See, we got there. All right, so we're probably in Kampala in definitely 2012. That seems to make sense to me. Let's toss this right here. Make our guess. We were, in fact, what? News? The news? I could have sworn that newspaper said 2012, but apparently it said 2002. Arg. Hello, Vladimir. Sadness and failure times for me. All right, what do we have here? So this is the Adgardurma Pingavolen. Great. It's the Bestastofa, which is Ukrainian for visitor center. Excellent. This is Pingavolen. Okay. Man, I bet you this guy's important. I bet you this guy, on account of being photographed next to this guy, is like a big deal. I sort of figure that there's only a certain number of situations in which this guy would feel comfortable being photographed next to someone who's so much very taller than him. My dude, you are literally head and shoulders. Well, not literally shoulders, but just about shoulders higher than this dude. Shit. All right, so you're probably the guy in charge of a place. Cool. You would be the guy in charge of the place where this is, I bet. Which would mean... Shit, I don't know. I don't suppose you gotta... No, that's like a badge for your jacket. Okay, that's reasonable. Looks like you've got one of those nifty heated jackets. So you've got lanyards, but you're entirely too far away for us to... Yeah, we can't make anything out on that lanyard. Awesome. I like your sweater, though. I do very much like your sweater. I'm going to go Scandinavian just based on that sweater and the general Coltonist look. Here, let's say we're in... Sonny sees a thorn in there, which means that we would put it in Iceland. Oh, good, because I was going to go Scandinavian with stuff. Great. Well, if we're gonna be in Iceland, we should probably stick a pin in Reykjavik, but also Iceland is tiny, so let's just be cowards about stuff. Do we want to just be cowards about stuff and stick a pin right in the middle of Ireland? No. All right. Let's go to Reykjavik, and it's probably this year or last. Let's go last. It was, in fact, last, and I would have been better off sticking a pin smack dab in the middle of Iceland. Sad. Stupid Iceland. Thank you, Sonny. All right. So we got some dudes. Dudes with a star on their thing. Interested. This is restricted security information, which means we probably shouldn't be looking at this, but okay. Hi there. Korean script? I remember once saying to myself that if it looks like it could be Chinese or Japanese, but it also has a bunch of loopies in it, it's probably Korean. I also remember scolding myself for being racist, but that might have actually been a reasonable identifier. Especially given that this guy with the stick is pointing the stick at Korea, and that this over here is Korea. So, I feel reasonably confident that this is Korean. Now then, so if we're in Korea and we've got dudes with stars on their thing, as I recall, that would make these dudes North Korean, maybe? Sam, it's not racist if it's correct. Oh, God. All right. So, listen, I'm going to guess that we're about right where that stick is pointing, which, well, hold on. If we just zoom in on the stick and then recreate the conditions of the photograph. See, the problem is we're just kind of picking a spot in. Okay. Oh, fuck it. Let's go somewhere near the border. Let's go to Kaesong. That's fine. We're in Kaesong in 1953 was the Korean War, right? 51. Okay. And we're a little bit further south than that. Fine. 43,812. That is a good score. What did Sam get? I think it was 41 something. Let me scroll up. Sam got 41,827. Hooray for the power of crowdsourcing. I said crowdsourcing. No, I did it all by my very own self. You don't have video evidence otherwise. Nonsense. Thank you, Sunflare Space. And also everyone else. All right. For today's Immaculate Grid, we need Brewers and Rockies and Cubs and dudes would had 2,000 hits in their career and dudes would played the outfield and dudes would had 6 more seasons. Okay. Let's see here. Sonny, without that thorn, I would have put it in freaking Scandinavia. So, yep. All right, a Colorado Rocky who had 2,000 or more hits in his career is Wary Locker. A Colorado Rocky who played the outfield is Dexter Fowler, one of Holcomet's favoriteest players. A Milwaukee Brewer who played the outfield is Niger Morgan. Niger Morgan's a fella. He played the outfield for the Milwaukee Brewers. I thought Scandinavia was 3 in exactly 3 countries. It was Norway and Sweden and Finland. Could be wrong about that. Could be very wrong, but it's like and Denmark. News to me. All right, a dude who played the outfield and had a 6 or more wins above replacement season is Marcus Lynn Betts. Imagine if you traded Mookie Betts. What if you had Mookie Betts on your baseball team and then you decided not to have Mookie Betts on your baseball team? That would just be stupid, wouldn't it? A dude who amassed 2,000 hits in his career and had a 6 or more WAR season is... Did David Ortiz get to 2,000 hits? I mean, 2,000... He played for a long time, but 2,000 hits is a fair whack of hits, actually. Let's just say Ichiro. Let's just take a layup. This is Ichiro. David Ortiz probably got to 2,000 hits, but also 2,000 hits is a lot of hits. And, I know David Ortiz had, 500 dingers or whatever, but he still would have had to get 1,500 not dingers, and, I don't know if I necessarily trust David Ortiz to have gotten 1,500 not dingers in his life. Let's see here. 2,000 hits for the Milwaukee Brewers is Ed Sprague. No, 2,472 for David Ortiz. Okay, fine. All right, fine. So yeah, 2,000 hits, imminently doable. Also, Paul Oliver was a Brewer, right? I'm not just making that up. I might just be making that up, actually. I don't trust myself today. Robin Yount is a Milwaukee Brewer who had 2,000 hits. Now, we must name some Cubs. Oh, boy. All right. Dude who played for the Cubs and the Colorado Rockies is Dexter Fowler, actually. Oops. Another one is probably the most famous top guy for the square, Chris Bryant. Dude who played for the Cubs and had 6 or more wins above replacement is Sammy Sosa was good, but 6 WAR is a lot of WAR. Sammy Sosa was good. Come on. Sammy Sosa. And a dude who played for the Cubs, but also the Brewers, is probably not Paul Molitor. Greg Maddux was a Cub, but not a Brewer. Zach Greinke was a Brewer, but not a Cub. John Lackey was a Cub. John Lester was a Cub. Ben Sheets was a Brewer. Fuck. Richie Sexton was a Brewer. Mark Grace was a Cub. Ernie Banks was a Cub. Darwin Barney was a Cub. Shit. Seiya Suzuki was a Cub, by which I mean is a Cub. Ben Zobrist was a Cub. Prince Fielder was a Brewer. BJ Surhoff, I think, was a Brewer. Shit. Kerry Wood was a Cub. Mark Pryor was a Cub. JT Snow was a Giant. That doesn't help. Fuck. I should be able to think of one. Kenny Lofton was a Cub. That doesn't help. Christian Yelich is a Brewer. Ryan Braun was a Brewer. Matt Stairs was a Brewer. Matt Stairs? Was Matt Stairs a Cub? Matt Stairs played for a lot of teams. Jamie Moyer was a Cub. I don't think Jamie Moyer was a Brewer, though. So. Fuck. Matt Stairs is a good button, but is he a good button in this particular instance? Therein lies the question. I think Joaquin Benoit was a Brewer. Not certain about him having been a Cub, though. LaTroy Hawkins was a Cub. Fuck. All right, it's 8 o'clock. I have to be on a Zoom call at 8:30, and I still have to, shower and get dressed and all that. Was Matt Stairs a Cub? Yes! Yes, he was! Bah! Bah! Victory! Bah! Hooray. Glory and triumph for me, the _Goog. And folks, this is our stream schedule for the week. It is mostly complete, at least as of right now. As we all know, things can change rather quickly, but the plan is that I will be back tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock Eastern for another edition of Good Morning Mini Motorways. Until then, thank you all so very much for watching. Punch an ice agent today. Have a great one, everybody. Bye!